Hello YouTube, my name is Nero and today we have some Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered using the M40A3 sniper rifle. It feels so good, man. It really does. Be using this weapon once again. So a little bit of backstory. When I first got into the Call of Duty franchise, I had not played any of the first couple of games. My first experience ever with Call of Duty was actually Call of Duty 3 when I went over to my cousin's house one day. This is before I even had the internet at my house. So I went over to his house one day. He has an Xbox 360. He's playing Call of Duty 3 and he is sniping in that game. I forget the name of the map, but I remember there was a dead cow on this map. It was kind of a smallish town, maybe a farm, I don't remember, and there was a dead cow either on the road or in a field somewhere, and they were all protecting it. Like my cousin and his friends at the time, the people he was playing with, they decided to protect this dead cow, and I don't know why. They made a big joke out of it, and so he would be sniping, he would let me play, and I would use the sniper rifle as well, because the idea of sniping in video games has always been interesting to me. Some of my favorite movies back in the day were Enemy at the Gates, which of course is about Vasily Zaitsev. Saving Private Ryan had a really cool sniper in that movie as well, and even to this day, I still get infatuated with the idea of sniping in first-person shooters. It's just there's something about the idea of marksmanship. Maybe it's because I grew up hunting, I don't know, but the idea of marksmanship, one shot, one kill, sneaking around, crawling through buildings and stuff like that always sounded interesting to me. And so after playing Call of Duty for the first time at my cousin's house, I ended up getting an Xbox 360 and Call of Duty 4 and the internet that coming Christmas. I was very happy about that. And so my first game was Call of Duty 4, and I tried to replicate what I saw in these war movies. I tried to be that guy crawling through fields. I tried to, like, I remember on Pipeline, I would be on top of the hill on Pipeline laying in a bush, and the reason why you lay in a bush is because you got your ghillie suit, right? And so they can't see it because your ghillie suit's gonna blend in with the bush, and just sit there and try to pick people off across the map. Obviously, that's not super effective in Call of Duty, but that's how I had fun at the time. That's how I was getting into the Call of Duty franchise. And the more and more I played Call of Duty, the less and less I sniped, the more I started trying to play the objective, the more I started using the SMGs and assault rifles, and became a big sweaty tryhard. But I mean, just last month I made a video called Why I Hate Snipers in Video Games, and the reason why, and just to summarize that video, you guys should check it out if you guys haven't already. I think I make a number of great points, and there's definitely an interesting discussion in the comments. But the reason why I don't like sniping in Call of Duty nowadays is because if you're trying to play an objective game mode and you're using a sniper rifle, chances are you'd be a bigger asset to your team if you were using like an M16 or an assault rifle or something along those lines, right? It just, using a sniper is pretty hard in Call of Duty, especially more modern Call of Duties. I mentioned a couple of times in that video how in Call of Duty 4, World at War, to lesser extent Modern Warfare 2 and the original Black Ops, those games, the maps were big enough that sniping was actually a viable option most of the time, whereas Black Ops 3, sniping, unless you're playing like Search and Destroy, it's like, it's a really difficult thing to actually pull off, whereas you're watching the gameplay here in Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered, I'm actually picking people off across the map. There's actually distance between me and my opponent, and it actually feels like sniping to me. And so when I'm using the M40 here in Modern Warfare Remastered, it takes me back to when I first got into the Call of Duty franchise. It takes me back to that night I go over to my cousin's house and we're playing Call of Duty 3. We're defending the cow, and how that was my first experience in Call of Duty. So it feels good using the M40A3 in this game. Now, I will say, sniping in this game feels like it did in Call of Duty 4. It looks different, right? The weapon looks slightly different. The scope-in animation looks slightly different, but it's like the exact same scope-in time, so it's like riding a bike. As soon as I picked up the M40A3 and I started like shooting at a couple of people, I'm like, wow, this feels incredibly natural. It feels very, very familiar. It's like riding a bike. It feels good in that respect. And from what I'm seeing from other people on YouTube and on Twitter and stuff, people tend to agree. The sniping in this game does feel a lot like it did in Call of Duty 4. There were early accounts of people saying that it felt like the original Black Ops, that they changed sniping here in Modern Warfare Remastered. And I don't think that's the case whatsoever. It feels like Call of Duty 4 sniping, but it looks different. And I think that animation, that different scope in animation is what was throwing people off initially. And I even said it, man, like people that are playing the game early at events, or they're at COD XP, or they're going to pre-recording events, that's not like the same experience you get playing at home, at your own setup, in your own chair, using your own TV or your own monitor or whatever it is, right? It's not the exact same experience. And that's probably why it fell off to some people, because to me, it feels just as natural as it did back in 2007. I'm very happy about that. You guys will notice I'm playing Team Deathmatch here in these videos. I still reign true. Like, I'm not trying to be a giant hypocrite where I make a video a month ago saying I hate snipers, and then I make a video saying I really enjoy the snipers in this game. I'm playing Team Deathmatch, where sniping is actually pretty viable in Modern Warfare Remastered / COD 4, and every game I'm getting a pretty good KD ratio, and that's the whole objective in TDM, is to have a good KD ratio, so I'm actually able to have some fun while sniping, while still trying to maintain like a high win percentage and be an asset to my team, because that's how I have fun in video games. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to conclude this video. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. What are your thoughts on sniping so far here in Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered? Are you guys annoyed of the M16s yet? Because I think I'm starting to get there. The M16 is one of my favorite guns in Call of Duty. It really is. But everybody is using it in Modern Warfare Remastered right now, and it's annoying to die to at this point. It really is. But I think it'll get better with time as more people get the game, as people unlock more weapons. But for right now, even while I'm trying to snipe, I'm getting sniped by M16s, and it's like, it's so frustrating at times. But ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys will enjoy the video. Once again, let me know your thoughts down there in the comment section below. Drop me a rating. Hope you guys all have a wonderful day.